Live from the slightly twisted deck bar, it's the Poojie Podcast with Justin Lemine.
The Poojie Podcast is proudly sponsored by Cimarron Golf Club, located in Jacksonville, Florida, off County Road 210, just west of St. John's Parkway.
What is going on, everybody? We are recording this on Tuesday, October 20th. You are listening on Thursday, October 22nd or beyond. Tonight, Game 1 of the World Series. If you haven't already, go listen to episode 51, the World Series preview. A great episode, only about 15 minutes long on all podcast platforms as well as YouTube for video content. If you'd like, also go check out on YouTube or Instagram the Weekend Sports Rundown 7-minute video recapping the weekend in sports. I know I am not the only one overwhelmed by all things happening in sports these days. So go listen to the Weekend Sports Rundown. And this coming Saturday, in 2 days from now, we will have Feel the Fern, Takes That Burn with Fern, back on Saturday morning. Fern was on vacation last week, so was not able to do it last week, as well as Kyle Verbin is on vacation this week. So odd week. Verbin is now odd man out 2 weeks in a row, not on the podcast. It's okay, though. Not too much to talk about in regards to the Jacksonville Jaguars. In fact, defense so bad, 5 consecutive games with 30-plus points given up on defense. But like my shirt says, we weren't going to shut them out anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But this is how I feel, and Sam, you have motivated me to do this. I want to kick off the podcast with a nice little chug. So that only seems fitting to get this thing started because it seems like people in the front office are also drunk, so I might as well get on their level. But we're going to bring in Jacob right now to recap Week 6, Jaguars versus Lions, a game that many of us thought the Jags would be competitive in, but it looked like the only thing they were working towards was getting off the field and back home. So, Jacob, jump in. Tell me about Week 6.
You know what, Justin? I hope you brought enough for the class because I could use one of those chugs myself. This was the game. This was the game that if we were going to be competitive in any game, this was the game. And you know what? We were downright terrible. Every week I've said the Jags defense has been so bad, but the offense has kept us in games, and the offenses look good. And you know what? This week the offense didn't look good. The offense looked pretty bad in my opinion. I mean, Minshew did not look good. I've always stood behind Minshew, and I'm hoping it's just like a bad game for him. But we ran the ball for 44 yards against the second worst defense stopping the run. And I'm like, we started the game trying to run James Robinson, which I know they said, we haven't run him enough. And the Detroit Lions just sold out on the run, and they dared us to pass him. You know what? Any week, we'd be like, hell yeah, that's what we want. Well, guess what? Minshew's throwing balls behind receivers. We're not making completions. He's lobbing them up, and I'm like, what are we doing? And at this point right now, like, if we keep playing like this, we're going 1-15. This was the easiest part of our schedule, and we just went 1-5. I looked at the rest of the schedule. I don't see a single game that I could, like, any way we win these games at all. And so, I mean, that's my recap because there's nothing to recap. We just were bad. One of the worst games I think I've ever seen. So let's just move on.
Yeah, absolutely nothing positive. In fact, there's more positives in this city due to COVID than there is due to Jacksonville Jaguar football. So nothing positive for the Jaguars. And obviously we're losing the fan base, as you can tell by Jacob's harsh words, but truthful words. And if you're a Jaguar optimist, go find another podcast because we will not have that for you. We are realists and truthers, and we're going to just bring you the truth. And to be honest with you, I'm tired of doing this Week 7, trying to up the Jaguar talk, be positive when there's nothing to talk positively about. There's just really not much hope unless we get the first overall pick and get Trevor Lawrence, which is weird because 4 weeks ago we were all hyped about Gardner Minshew and the future of this offense. Who knows what's going to happen? Appealing front office job, appealing head coaching gig if it does open up. But it looks like we do have a guest joining us. We're going to flip over to Grid View. Craig Lemine, my dad, is here to pop off real quick, and looks like he's in outer space in the
There we go.
station. Dad, give it to us straight. What's up with the Jags?
Hey guys, I tell you what, there are two defining moments in my Jaguar career history. The year we beat the Colts for the first time on a field goal in the stadium was just an elation. I loved it. We all loved it, right, guys? I mean, it was the greatest feeling in the world. And then this past Sunday, where I felt nothing. I absolutely felt nothing. But here's the thing, fellas. You know me. I've been known to get up in the first 5 minutes of a Jaguar game, sitting in the stands, and walk out because I knew we were going to lose. But we got to take it one game at a time. The Lions, they're better than their record showed. I mean, we, didn't properly prepare. But our guys left it all on the field. In fact, Minshew threw his jockstrap out there, and we had to have the towel boy go out there and pick it up. I'm telling you, we got to turn this thing around. I don't know if a quarterback is going to, drafting a quarterback is going to be any good for us. We got to do a lot of other stuff, and I don't know if it's going to be coaching or what, but fellas, that was a horrible game on Sunday.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're getting at. A quarterback is definitely a step in the right direction, but you're talking in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot more that has to be done as far as the culture goes and just righting the ship and making people in Jacksonville feel more confident in this management, in this front office, and in Shad Khan and Tony Khan and what they have planned for the city. They seem to be worried more so about what's happening outside the stadium than inside the stadium, and that as a fan base just does not sit too well. No one wants to worry about hotels and businesses and condominiums on the riverbank if the team inside the stadium is only winning 2 or 3 games a year. If we're lucky this year, mind you. And the only reason, by the way, we beat the Colts is because it was Phillip Rivers in a new offense without an offseason, and we got lucky there. So that's all I got to say. Dad, what else?
That was this year. I'm talking about years ago when we were there. But, our team gave 110%. I mean, and we played a full 60 minutes, but apparently 16 points isn't good enough to win in the NFL.
Well, yeah, so, I think I've heard people talking about the personnel. Would Vince Lombardi be able to win with this personnel? Is the talent just simply is not there? And at some point, coaching can only take you so far if the players' talent isn't there. And that's where we get into draft season, which is Sam's favorite season. Dad, I'm going to have to kick you out. Thanks for joining us.
See you guys. We'll talk to you. Take care. Bye-bye.
And Sam, where are we at right now on mock draft season countdown?
I was talking to my coworker about this morning. I'm about to open one. I actually held off simply because I was reading a tweet today at work about the Cowboys organization. Apparently, players are coming out of the woodwork, talking this, talking that about their head coach. And I'm thinking, the one positive I can take away from this week is simply, like Craig said, I didn't feel anything after the game. I think that was a perfect description of my feelings after the game. I felt nothing. But the one positive that I can take away now after seeing that is, our players are keeping their mouths shut. I heard a little bit from DJ Chark about Gardner Minshew, in his conference after the game, but I've not heard any anonymous sayings, so to speak, from any players about our coaches. So not sure if it's coaching, not sure if it's the player talent, like you were saying, but that's one thing you can take away, at least the culture from what we've built. Players are still playing hard, like Craig was saying, until the end of the game, and you're not hearing anything after the game. I think that's a positive.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, when you look at our team, the guys that are currently on the field are guys that are playing for roster spots on any other team, and that's why they're playing till the end of the game. And you saw yesterday, I saw Stephon Diggs kind of walk back to the line of scrimmage when the Bills were down by 9 and the game was out of reach. And that's not what you're going to see from the Jaguars, whether it be good or bad. We have guys that are competing for future career spots in the NFL. And at least the culture, like you said, is at least not too tarnished yet. But I do think there needs to be some change to create more of a winning culture. I think that's more important than people think. I'm glad you brought up the Cowboys, though. The NFC East, a division that the Jaguars would very well be in the thick of right now, with the Cowboys getting absolutely dismantled by the Cardinals on Monday night. Luke, jump in real quick. You've been sitting patiently. I know you got something to say. What's going on with the Cowboys? Is there going to be this huge drop-off with the fact that Dak Prescott is out, or is the offense good enough to keep the train rolling?
I would say that I'd rather be a Jaguars fan and see our team be bad, with just knowing it's a personnel issue. Like, we just don't have the good enough players to compete, versus being a Cowboys fan and having a loaded roster and just say, what's going on? What's going wrong here? I mean, they have the roster, they just can't put it on the field. Honestly, I think if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be in a worse spot right now than being a Jaguars fan, and just knowing that we're bad because we just don't have the players to compete.
Yeah, and they put up a graphic last night that the Cowboys haven't been to a championship game since like the 1980s or something like that. Them and only 5 or 6 other teams, I want to say. And I started thinking, I was like, wow, the Jaguars have been to 3 conference championship games since the Cowboys' last conference championship game. And that made me feel a little bit better, even if only for a second, about the Jaguars. Maybe we'll be able to get back there sooner than we think. But I completely agree. I'd rather be bad because the talent's not there rather than be bad because maybe the chemistry's not there. But I do think, the only bright spot is obviously James Robinson, another reception, touchdown. We have DJ Chark, who obviously seems like a Pro Bowl receiver. There are pieces. The problem is in the NFL, when your team is 1-5, 1-6, and trending downward, the fan base loses hope very quickly. And then we get into Sam's mock draft season, which seems to be closer than we would like. But anyways, I'm going to go through some quarterback names real quick. Obviously, none that are on the Jaguars, some that we had the chance to draft, some that we've had the chance to pick up that we have not. And I just want your thoughts on them. I'm going to give you each 15 seconds. We'll just go full circle here. We'll actually go grid view, and that way everyone can see everyone. We'll start with Jacob, since you're in my top left. Jacob, thoughts on Carson Wentz through 6 games?
Surprising.
In what way?
That's my word. I mean, I know this guy's been an MVP candidate, and somehow this team has not looked good with the pieces they have. But like Carson Wentz himself just doesn't look very good. And I mean, does he need Nick Foles on the bench with him? I don't know, but he's not been able to really lead that team that well.
Yep, and failed 2-point conversion on Sunday that would have tied it against the Ravens to go into overtime against Lamar Jackson. Luke, Cam Newton's return in New England. What do you got to say?
I like Cam Newton's return in New England. He looks like he's ready to play. He looks more reinvigorated being with Bill Belichick on the Pats, maybe just being with the Panthers. It wasn't meshing well, and just going to a new spot maybe reinvigorated him. So there's games where he does really well, and I like him. So
Patriots under 500 for the first time in a long time. Obviously, you can never count them out with Bill Belichick as the head coach, and lost on Sunday to a team that just scored 6 field goals, 18-12 against the Broncos. Spoiled my brother's Survivor League pick, the New England Patriots, from this past week. Sam, a guy we know all too well with Dolphin fans, friends, and also in the same division as the Titans, Ryan Tannehill. What do you got to say?
I'm surprised as well. I gotta say, I'm gonna steal Jacob's word. I'm gonna go with surprised. I didn't think he was gonna be able to. I don't think a lot of people thought that he was gonna be able to continue on. It looks like him and the Titans have a pretty good match. They're focused on the run. Tannehill can kind of just, he can do him. He's pretty accurate. He's got good legs on him, and they're looking real good top of the AFC South this week. Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely a competitor. They're a challenger to the Chiefs in the AFC. I mean, they met last year. We'll see what they can do, but they won in overtime against the Texans, which, quick side note, I really, as much as I hate the Titans, I love seeing that from teams, as much as I hate the overtime rules too. They never fell out of the game. They were winning by 11. They blew that lead, and at the end of the game, going to A.J. Brown, sure-handed wide receiver, for the game-tying touchdown, and then went back to what they're used to. Mike Vrabel really must be sipping something strong there on Broadway because he's got that team rolling in the right direction in his young NFL coaching career. Jacob, I did want to give you one quarterback. I'm going to hold off on him. I'm going to give you Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills.
Well, that's an interesting one because before this last game, I would have said something different. Although, I mean, he's still been like, I would say, a star. I mean, he lost to Patrick Mahomes. That was my intrigue matchup / hot take last week. I thought he was gonna, pull it out for the Bills, but I still think he's surprising people. I think no one really gave him the credit from last year. Yeah, he runs a lot. He can do that, but I think he was showing us this year that he can really pass the ball well and lead that team and score points. So I'm gonna say he's a star.
Yeah, kind of didn't do too well against the Titans last Tuesday. We saw that weird Tuesday night game. Lost to the Chiefs yesterday on Monday evening football. That started off the Monday night slate. We'll see if he can get back on track. It's been weird. It's got to be difficult planning for these games when you don't know what days they're going to be played or if they will be played. Luke, let's go to you. Kyler Murray in Arizona.
Ooh, I actually like that. At the beginning of the season, as soon as DeAndre Hopkins got traded away to Arizona, I had a conversation with some Arizona fans that said, do you think Kyler Murray has a better season than Deshaun Watson? And currently he is. I mean, he's out there playing better than Deshaun Watson is. He has his team in a better spot in a division that's tougher than the AFC South. I think Kyler Murray's doing really well over in Arizona, and just sky's the limit. So.
And obviously, like I mentioned, Arizona just dominating Dallas on Monday night. Kyler Murray, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's his size or just simply the position. He seems like the fastest quarterback I've ever seen when he runs. I don't know if it's because he takes so many steps because he has smaller legs, but he hits angles and he hits corners that I haven't seen some of the best running backs hit. And some of the one touchdown he ran on Monday just to get outside, I think it was on 3rd and goal. Extremely impressive. And then the 4th down conversion he ran, and he knows when to slide. And that just seems like a perfect marriage between him and Kingsbury, as well as DeAndre Hopkins. Kenyon Drake, former Dolphin, having a breakout game, an incredible game. And then Chase Edmonds is a great 3rd down back there. I mean, Arizona is a real contender. If they were in a different division, I would be guaranteed that they'd have a home playoff game this year, but I know they still have the Seahawks, 49ers, and Rams to deal with. Let's go to Sam, last quarterback real quick, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah. Love it. Love some Aaron Rodgers. I got Devontae Adams in my fantasy league, so every time, he goes off, I reap the benefits. But Aaron Rodgers looking like the next coming of Aaron Rodgers almost. He's kind of sliding off a little bit. Now he's back. He's ready to prove the haters wrong this week. A tough matchup against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You look at their pass defense and think that he can make some headway on them, but they couldn't get anything going on the ground, and he was having trouble locking in on those receivers. Antoine Winfield Jr. looking like defensive rookie of the year. What an excellent pick for them in the 2nd round. I know his dad played; he was really good. So yeah, he's shaping up to be one of the best corners of the draft. And the Jags took C.J. Henderson early. Antoine Winfield, kind of like that tweener player, plays in the slot a lot and just all over the field. It's great to see them. I was talking about Aaron Rodgers, though. I think he's going to bounce back. He's a great quarterback, and he's got a great cast of weapons, including Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you brought up Winfield out of Minnesota. His dad, pretty historic interception against Tom Brady when Tom Brady was on the New England Patriots. I remember that being a storyline when Tom Brady got signed by the Patriots and Winfield got drafted, how they were joking around how Winfield's dad had intercepted Tom Brady in one of the in a historical moment, I guess, in the NFL, in NFL's history. Last quarterback, all three of us are going to roll through this. I'll give you 15 seconds to give me your thoughts on good, bad, too early, not soon enough, and what your thoughts are going to be on the outcome of this season for this guy. Of course, just announced Tua Tagovailoa. Jacob, what do you got to say? Starting week 8, they have a bye this week, I'm pretty sure. Starting for the Dolphins moving forward.
Yeah, I think a lot of people expected this time for them to bring him out, but maybe not everyone expected Ryan Fitzpatrick to have won the games that he's won them. So I'm excited to see Tua. I think he's the future. Ryan Fitzpatrick, was winning some ball games, but I think he's going to be good. He just has to get that time on the field to kind of get back into it and see what he's got.
I completely agree. I mean, it's when you draft a quarterback that early, you're expected to start him in year one. I think Mahomes is the only one recently that we haven't seen that happen for, and it paid off. But who knows? Maybe Tua learned quicker and they feel confident. The interesting thing is that team is 3-3, and why switch from Fitzpatrick if you can maybe give yourself even a better shot at the playoffs with Fitzpatrick and not have to rush Tua? Or is the idea to now have Tua carry you to the playoffs? Problem is once you switch to Tua, that's a lot of twos there, but once you switch to Tua, it's going to be very difficult for the fan base to switch back to Fitzpatrick if anything goes wrong. We've seen that here in Jacksonville. Luke, Tua, what do you got to say?
I'd say too early on Tua. Obviously, the fan base clamoring for him. It's the guy they went and picked. But I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's out there winning games. The team's meshing pretty well. They dominated the Niners, who were just in a Super Bowl. They dominated the Jets. Why not just keep rolling with Fitzpatrick? If your goal is playoffs, why not just keep rolling with it unless something looks off? And so the past few games, they've been looking pretty good. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the idea is you don't want to get anyone injured and hopefully he doesn't get injured. That nice monumental picture of him on the 15-yard line down at Hard Rock Stadium at the end of the game after playing in his first few snaps. We were waiting for it out in San Francisco when they were dominating the 49ers. We didn't get that, but we did get it this past Sunday, 24-0 over the Jets. Let's go over to Sam. Sam, do you have a special guest over there maybe that wants to chime in?
No, I don't, actually. Special guest is currently in the bathroom, but just figured it out. So, Tua Tagovailoa, I got some insight, and I can use, I hear so much about him from my roommate, but so Tua,
is he shouting? Is he shouting from the bathroom right now at you, Sam? Is he yelling at you what to say?
No, I hear, like I said, I hear enough of that. I can pretty much go off word for word from what, word for word from what he goes off of. But big Tua thing is that I think him coming on after the bye, I think that might have been pre-planned. Like, I don't think it, if they had won all their games up until now, I think that might have been a different story. But I mean, I think we can all agree that Fitzpatrick did an excellent season so far. There's not really a reason to take him out. I think that the team's behind him, but I think now is just they want to give Tua the chance in this kind of weird season, get him as much playing time as possible. The week he comes back, he is playing Aaron Donald, so that is going to be fun for him. Kind of test out, make sure he gets the ball out on time because that pass rush is going to be good. They do have a good secondary, good defense altogether. It's going to be a good game for his first game back. We're really excited over here in East Orlando.
Gotcha. And it cut out a little bit. Sam said facing off against Aaron Donald in a daunting Rams defense. They've had a great defense for many years. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey's on the team. Aaron Donald, like you mentioned, it's going to be a tall task, but it could be a signature task if he ends up beating them. And that's his first victory in the NFL. Who knows what'll happen there? Well, let's move on from that and let's go into intrigue matchups as well as Jag predictions, hot takes, and so on. Jacob, let's start with you. What's your intrigue matchup? You got about 45 seconds.
I'm looking to watch the Seattle Seahawks go to the Arizona Cardinals because the Seahawks just came off their bye week. Russell Wilson and that offense has been, playing out of their mind. They're 5-0, but we did just see the Cardinals absolutely destroy the Cowboys, and Kyler Murray only threw 9 passes, only completed 9 passes, I should say, and they put up 38 points with Kyler Murray completing 9 passes. I'm really excited to see this because we all know the Seahawks defense isn't that great. So I think it's going to be a shootout. Maybe it's whoever gets the ball last. I don't know, but it should be an exciting one to watch with these two quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. And DeAndre Hopkins showed up late, kind of saved his stat line. As you mentioned, Kyler was a little bit off, but that's okay because Kenyon Drake was a lot of bit on. Luke, let's go to you. Intrigue matchup, 45 seconds. Go for it.
My intrigue matchup for this coming week is going to be the Bucs and the Raiders Sunday night. When the Bucks are looking good and on point, they look like world beaters. I mean, they could be definitely Super Bowl contender, Super Bowl winners. When they are just grinding on all gears, maybe Tom Brady puts another stadium under his belt where he won at. But the Raiders also they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champs. I mean, the Raiders when they're clicking too, it's kind of just going to be a force of who's really clicking at this point in the season and seeing who can take this game.
Yeah, it'll potentially come down to last possession. Raiders just put up 40 points on the Chiefs. Bucks just put up 38 points on the Packers. Now, granted, Packers defense isn't the best in the league, but like you said, I mean, these Bucks have hot flashes these first 6 weeks, and if they can stay hot longer than a little bit, they're going to be a dangerous team going into November and December, starting with this game. I think it's at Allegiant Stadium, which, like you said, another stadium for Tom Brady to put up on the wall that he has won an NFL game in. DJ Leggett, geography teacher, where is your NFL Sunday taking you?
Guys, we're going up north. 49ers play the Patriots. It's going to be an interesting game because Jimmy G is going to be reuniting with his best friend, Bill Belichick, who really wanted him in New England, but was, in my theory, was kicked out, trumped by Robert Kraft in that instance for his preference over Tom Brady. Anyways, I think him going back there is going to be a really fun game to watch. Jimmy G and the 49ers coming off a big win this weekend. So we'll see if they can get on track. Bill Belichick always real good at scheming up against his former players and former coaches, though. So we'll see what he's got in store on defense for Jimmy Garoppolo.
That will be a good one, and Jacob's given us a 4:05 game. Luke has given us the Sunday night game, and you have given us the 4:25 game. I will give you a 1 o'clock game to watch, and I'm excited for this one because I think it might be the first real super challenge for this team, and it's going to be Steelers at Titans. And you may be wondering, what team am I thinking? Well, both. I think this will be one of the first big challenges for the Steelers, and I think coming off that Bills victory, as I said back in episode 3, I think the Bills might be a little bit overrated simply because we've seen this act from them before. So I'm excited to see the Titans play against a team of that caliber that has a little bit more consistency year in and year out. It's not very often we see the Steelers start off this hot and collapse. We have seen it from the Bills in the past. So excited to see the Titans versus the Steelers. Excited to see what Derrick Henry does against one of the best rush defenses in the league. But I'm also excited to see what the Steelers offense can do to one of the best defenses in the back end in the league. They've played a lot better than a lot of people have expected. So Steelers at Titans, the 1 o'clock game on Sunday. Go watch that. Let's go back up to Jacob. We have a few seconds left here. Jacob, Jags prediction, quick hot take for you. I know we didn't talk a lot about the Jags, but what do you got to say going into week 7?
Well, start with the bad news, and that's going to be the Jags prediction. I don't really have a good faith in the Jags right now. So going over to LA to play this game, I think it's going to be even harder on us. I think Justin Herbert's playing well. He scored 7 touchdowns in the last 2 games, only thrown 1 pick. I'm predicting us to only score about 17 points, and I'm going to say it's going to be 34-17 Chargers. And I'm not happy that I have to say that, but I think that's probably what it's going to be. Until they show me otherwise, I'm not predicting the Jags to win.
Are any of us really happy here? I don't think so. So, I mean, it's just blends perfectly in with the panel. Luke, Jags prediction, what do you got?
I'm going to take the Chargers because the Jags can't play well on the West Coast ever. Chargers going to win 28-21. And then a hot take, Bengals beat the Browns.
Bengals over Browns. Let me get that down on paper. Bengals over Browns. I like it. I mean, the Browns looked awful last week against the Steelers. Many would believe this could be a bounce back for them. Bengals looked like they were going to beat the Colts, and the Colts stormed back from about 3 touchdowns down to beat the Bengals. So it's going to be a battle of who wants it more in this game in the AFC North. Sam, let's go over to you. Jags prediction and hot take.
Got the obviously the Chargers beating the Jags as they always do when they play over on the West Coast. Got the Jags losing 18-31. Some big touchdowns from Joshua Kelly, I think our run defense has just gotten worse and worse ever since that Joe Mixon game. The game before the Joe Mixon game, we held Derrick Henry to however many, it was like 80 yards. It was like I got under 100 yards. So it's kind of ridiculous how bad it's gotten over these last 2 games to where just anyone can run on us. So I'm predicting a big game out of Joshua Kelly. Justin Herbert kind of gets an off week of defenses to throw against. Kind of disappointing. As far as a hot take, I got a hot one piggybacking off of your game of the week, Justin. As far as the Titans-Pittsburgh, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are real hot. I think that they hold the Tennessee Titans to single digits in scoring and that they blow them out on Sunday.
I like it. No, that's good. I mean, that's definitely a scorching hot take. Pittsburgh's defense did play very well this past Sunday, though, against the Browns. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, guys, and I'm not doing this out of irrational decision-making or emotional knee-jerk reactions. I truly believe the Chargers are going to put up at least 40 points, and I'm going to go with a 42-16 score Chargers win. I mean, nothing about this is going to be good. I mean, I'm just going to say it up front. If you have other things to do on Sunday around 4 o'clock, maybe go to the pumpkin patch, maybe go pick up a 6-pack and get ready for the Sunday night game. Maybe watch maybe Hamilton still on Disney Plus. Just do something besides watching this game. Of course, I'm going to have to watch it so that I can do this next week, but that doesn't mean that there won't be a nice cold glass of whiskey sitting next to me while I do it. Maybe nap time at halftime, wake up maybe around 7:30, hoping Big Brother would be on. But that's my prediction, 42-16 Chargers. My hot take of the week is going to be the Washington football team beats the Dallas Cowboys, but not only beats the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to say they win around 31-14, a big victory for Washington and pretty much taking control of that division from the Dallas Cowboys' hands. I think Washington saw what they could get from Kyle Allen, a game they would have won this past weekend if they converted a 2-point conversion versus the Giants. I think the Washington football team is going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. That's my hot take. Kyle Allen, 4 touchdowns in that game. But that's all we got. Jacob, what was your hot take again? I know I don't think we got yours. What was it?
So my hot take is going to be about DeAndre Hopkins. Last week he played a Dallas defense that usually everyone can pass well on, and he didn't really do much until the very end. But this week, I think he turns it around. He's playing the Seattle defense. I say he goes for 10-plus catches, 150-plus yards, and 2 touchdowns. And as long as they get that last possession, I think Kyler Murray and the Cardinals defeat the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, of course, if it's Russell that has last possession, we know how that goes. But I really think that it's going to be a shootout, and Kyler Murray can pull it off.
I like it. I got it penciled down. That'll go up on the Instagram before the games on Sunday. But anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this. A nice episode talking about things other than the Jags. I enjoyed it. I hope you all did as well. Both the panel guys, the people listening on the platforms, and watching on YouTube. Be on the lookout on Instagram. We'll have a contest coming out for some Poojie Podcast merchandise here in the next week to celebrate our 50th episode, which dropped last week. Surprise 51 episode dropped on Tuesday. World Series preview. Be sure to go check that out. Great series began on Tuesday night. Wonder what the series is going to be at when you're listening to this on Thursday. Game 1 was on Tuesday. Dodgers versus the Tampa Bay Rays. So anyways, guys, you all take care. Fans, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Instagram, the Poojie Podcast. YouTube, follow and subscribe. Podcast platforms all over the place. And make sure to go make this world a better place. And maybe go vote. Early voting's open. Go vote November 3rd.
How can I be the man when you're the man? How can I be the man when you're the man? How can I be the man when you're the man?
Be sure to follow our show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other podcast streaming services, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel to check out unique video elements for each interview.